Welcome, everyone. I just want to make sure, I think I just saw somebody else pop in. All right. Hi, I'm Amanda Vallone from Roseborough Travel, and we have some of our other team members here from Roseborough. I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, thank you, Amanda. You know how we love that. Hello, I'm Alyssa with Roseborough Travel.
And I'm Marissa.
We have Team Issa over here.
Whoa.
So when you call the office and you say one of Alyssa, Marissa, Melissa answered the phone, it's one of them.
If you say Melissa, it's one of us.
So Tiffany's on the phone right now. As most of you know, we have shortened office hours on Wednesday. She is waving and smiling. Wednesdays, we're closing at noon now so that we can do things like this, presentations, and so we can catch up because it has been a busy back to business season. So today we're super excited to share with you AmaWaterways and our iconic Christmas markets trip. And we're going to have Sebastien from AmaWaterways give a presentation. So I will take a second to transition, but we're going to hop off of the video and let Sebastien take over momentarily. But just wanted to say hello from Roseborough Travel, and thank you so much for joining us today. All right, Sebastien from AmaWaterways. He is incredible, and he is going to take you through the journey of the iconic Christmas markets that if you come with me, you'll be going this year. So take it away, Sebastien.
Thank you, ladies. Well, thank you for having me first this afternoon. Thank you for organizing this. Welcome, everybody. I hope everybody's excited to think about Christmas, Christmas market, Christmas time in Europe on the Danube River. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to be introduced like this. Amanda knows how to do this, and it's also great to see how she selects, or the team selects these trips. We're talking about a trip today that I think the date has been chosen very carefully, and we will talk about the river in a few seconds. But you know, for those of you who have never been on a river cruise or even on a Christmas market cruise, of course I will show you pictures of our ships and how everything goes, and I sure hope that there will be a few questions at the end. I mean, ideally there will be zero questions because I will have covered everything, but that never happens. But no, the reason why I'm saying that this has been chosen very carefully, I will develop a little bit on that. Because Christmas time cruises, they're here for a very short period of time. It's always 4 weeks, so the Advent calendar, so the 4 weeks prior to Christmas. And what is really great, I believe, in starting a cruise on December 2nd, like it's the case for this one. December 2nd is embarkation on board the Amazonata. So the Amazonata is the exact sister ship to the AmaCerto, which you see here on picture. And why is December 2nd perfect, in my opinion? Well, because you will visit, of course, beautiful areas, but you're going there to see these Christmas markets. And these Christmas markets, they've been there, some of them for literally hundreds of years, more than 300 years for some of them. And it is important to understand that even though all the folks who work there, who are welcoming you all the time, they do this year after year after year, and they know it by heart. It works like clockwork. But it's always the same thing. When it starts, the first week, there is always this, we are getting back into it again. And what will happen when you start at the very beginning of the month of December like this is that you will be in the second week, because you will be in the second week of the Advent. So you will have had already the first big weekend, and that's where everything gets really into movement, if I can say. And then when you arrive and visit all these different places during the second week, everything is rolling. So it's a great choice. The direction is also perfect because you're going with the flow of water, and that's always an important thing to me, you know, because when you go with the flow of water, might not make a big difference when you think about it in front of a computer, but your ship will be faster. because it doesn't have to fight the current, right? And when you do Christmas markets, it's nice to have a little bit of additional time here or there, half an hour on day 2, half an hour on day 3. That's something that can be important. So now let's talk about AmaWaterways. So our company was founded in 2002. And actually on July 1st, 2002. So in about 5 weeks from now, we will turn 20. And we do river cruising. We do river cruising only. We're not going on oceans or doing expeditions. We've done river cruising since the beginning, and that's what we will keep doing. And we currently operate 25 cruise ships, the majority of them being, of course, in Europe, and the majority of them looking like the AmaCherto, which you see here. And let's talk a little bit about the ship itself. So all our ships on the rivers that you will see, because you will cross a few of them, they have the same design, they have the same length. The idea is that we want you to recognize an AmaWaterways cruise ship. We have a relatively low passenger capacity compared to all the other cruise lines. We are at the bottom in terms of maximum number of passengers on board. And that's a great thing, because if we have less passengers on board, this means we have more space. There are bigger staterooms. There is also more crew members, which means that you will have not only a better service, but also that you will have, as I said, this luxury of space, this comfort of space on board the ship. So 156 guests on a ship like this one. So that's the maximum capacity. And having less guests on board, it will allow us to have different amenities on board that others would not be able to bring. So we have, instead of having just one restaurant, one dining room, we have 2. We have the fitness center, the spa, the hairdresser salon, the swimming pool. And you might think, well, why would I use the swimming pool at Christmas time? It will be freezing. Well, yes, but the swimming pool is heated. And trust me, having been a cruise manager for our company for 10 years here, because this is also my 10th season, I can tell you that many people use the pool in the evening. I mean, it's super nice sometimes, especially on the Danube. You might have at that time of the year, you might have the sun deck that could be full of snow. I mean, you can snow in these areas. And our crew members, our nauticals, the sailors prepare a way, and you can go and just relax in the heated pool. It feels like a sauna, a jacuzzi. Sorry, it's really nice. So let's take a look at all this. Okay, let's take a look at the staterooms. I just told you that they are spacious, yes, and there are different categories. Okay, I'm not going to go too much in the detail in all these categories. That's something that Amanda, that Alyssa, that Melissa, that Marissa, that Brittany, they all know, Tiffany, of course, they all know all the details about that. They've been on our ships. Amanda goes a lot on our ships, which is a great thing. And she will be also hosting this one. So if you have questions about the staterooms, ask them, because we have 3 different decks. Most of the cabins are on the second and third, so the higher decks, but there are really different categories. So if you have questions about that, please feel free to ask them. You will see that there are different sizes. I mean, they range from 170 to 355 square feet. You will have some with French balconies, some with twin balconies like you see now. And actually what you see right here, that's really the main size of stateroom that you will find on our ships. That's 215 square feet. So that's really what you can expect. You come on our ships, that's really what you can expect. Important, you see on the right of the screen that there is this Mac computer. So all our staterooms are equipped with Mac. Wi-Fi is completely complimentary on board our ships. So you can use, of course, the Mac as your personal computer. So if you want to send emails, whatever. We found that less and less guests actually use the Macs. I mean, because nowadays, let's be real, what do you use? You use this, you use maybe something like that. Okay, you will have an iPad, and of course you can't see it with my super background, but so an iPad or something. So you have your mobile devices, which is why it's important to have multiple accesses to the Wi-Fi, which you can do on board our ships, complimentary, of course. Now, the food. So the food is very important because if you go on a Christmas cruise, it is likely that it will be a little cooler, if I can say. Temperatures at that time of the year, we're talking about 40s, sometimes in the 30s at night, but it has to be like this. I mean, who would want to go on a Christmas market and drink mulled wine if you had 85 degrees outside? That would not make any sense. So the food is important because it will bring you the calories. We are extremely, and we have always been extremely careful in the choice of our ingredients, of our produce and everything possible that goes basically in the plates, on the plates. Everything is locally sourced. Everything is fresh. Okay, we do not use frozen products and really nothing. I mean, the bread even is made on board. Everything is made à la minute, so made to order, which is very important because it will allow you it will allow us, to accommodate any dietary request or restriction that you may have. So we have different experiences on board. What you can see here, actually, it is a live, it's a second galley, a small one, with Chef Pavel. And that's what we call the chef's table restaurant. We have 2 dining rooms on board our ships. So you have the main dining room, which can accommodate everybody. Looks like this. Which is a very nice place. You have really a lot of different sizes, depending on the size of the group. I mean, you could be, for example, if you go with Amanda and all of a sudden you're 20, 30, 40, the whole ship. I don't know, I hope so. We can really accommodate different size of groups. I mean, in the back here, for example, you have 2 little separate rooms, which we call the wine rooms, and they have tables for 10 guests, for example. You don't have to reserve any of this because it is so normal times, which we are going back to normal now slowly. It is open seating. At the moment, it's not yet open seating, but we look forward to getting back to this in a very few months. But so you can really choose where you want to sit. And before the question arises, because I always look at the windows, and many guests ask me, but okay, is there a side that is better? Should I sit on the left, on the right, on the port side, on the starboard side? No, the truth is there is no side that is better because the ship changes the docking side every day pretty much. What I always encourage, especially when it comes to lunch, dinner is always in the dining room, but for lunch there is in the main lounge there is the possibility to have lunch there. And if you want to see what's happening around you, that's the place to be because the dining room is lower on the water. When we talk about calorie intake, and of course I will come back in a few seconds to what is included, because of course everything when it comes to the chef's table restaurant experience and all dinner, lunch, breakfast, etc., everything of course is included. Same also with the beverages, wine, beer, soft drinks, etc. Everything is included at lunch and dinner. The champagne is also available and included at breakfast. May you want to drink some. So you really do not have to worry. Same thing, we do not have, for example, a house wine. We don't like house wines because a house wine, it's always the same wine for the entire week. Well, if you don't like the wine at the beginning of the cruise, you will not like the wine at the end of the cruise. So that's why it's important to have local wines that change every day. And so when we talk about all these calorie intakes, it's important to talk about how we will burn these calories. And you see that for me, what is very important, even more important than the smaller group excursions, is one, that all the tours are included, like all of them. If you want to do, there will be days where you will have the possibility to do 2 or 3 tours in a day. If you want to do them, please be our guests. I mean, that's why they're here. You will not be nickel and dime by saying, oh, no, but this is an extra tour. We do not do this. All our tours are included, and they are in small groups. And that's very, very important. And I'm sure if some of you have been on a river cruise before, maybe with us, maybe with others, you see in some cities, you see the different cruise lines with the different guides, and you see the size of groups. And it is always way more comfortable to visit in a very small group than being a part of a group of 40 people. Yes, Amanda, I see that you're raising your hand already.
I would love to interrupt you with that because we
Yeah.
just came back from a group trip to Egypt, and the people who had come with us, some of them were looking at a competitor, and I gave pros and cons to each cruise line. And while we were on our trip with Ama through Egypt, they made comments on a daily basis. Do you see that other cruise line? Their groups are so much bigger. I don't know how those people can stand the tours. There's so many people on them. So I just really wanted to give pause to how amazing the small group tours are.
Thank you. It really is. And I think, I mean, having been a cruise manager and being with our guests all the time for 10 years now, you get also to look at the tours from a different lens, because of course we think the first thing is you want the guests to have the best experience possible. We want you to enjoy your time. These are towns that you have never seen. These are towns that, frankly, we're not spending 5 days in each town. So you want to have the best time possible when you're there. And what is very important to achieve that is to make sure that your guide is also having a great time. Because I can tell you that a guide who has to lead a group of 40 people, okay, with the lollipop, and I mean, in Egypt, it might be a little bit of a different thing, but no, actually, when you go in the old town in Cairo, that's exactly the same thing. If you go to old medieval town, what happens? These medieval towns, they have narrow streets. They have very narrow streets. It's Christmas time, so there will be people. It's not crowded, but there will be people. I mean, that's normal. And if you have a group of 40 people and the guide has to look at every corner when you turn left and right, if how many people you've lost, that's not an easy situation. Whereas if you have a group that is like 10, 12, 15, that's manageable. That's totally manageable. The guide knows exactly who his or her people are. And also, he or she has the time to talk about what you see, but also what makes it even more enjoyable for you, the guide will also have the time to answer your questions. Because if you have a group of 40 people, you can have the best guide in the world. A walking tour is around an hour, 15 minutes, an hour, 30 minutes if it's a big one. If you have 40 people, and it's fair to assume that people would have one question, I'm not even talking about 10, I'm talking about one question. If you have everybody who wants to ask one question, pretty much the entire tour is gone, the duration. So that's why we do small groups. And then as you can see on the screen, you see that we have different activity levels. So for all these tours that you will have, these city tours, we will have a gentle walkers group, a regular walkers group, an active walkers group. That's because we want also everybody to enjoy the trip at their own pace. And gentle doesn't mean slow. That's why we chose actually gentle. We don't like the term slow. First of all, because you will have people who will have, I mean, everybody has different capabilities when it comes to walking or running or whatever. But also you have different points of interest. And I was talking with a friend of mine the other day. I will have the chance to be on board our AmaMagna in a few weeks, and we will be on the lower Danube, and we will start in Istanbul. And actually, and we're all in physically in good shape. We're around 40, 45 years old, but he loves photography. And I told him, I said, look, when we will go on these and these tours, we will do some active tours. But there are places, if you're going to visit the Blue Mosque or the Hagia Sophia or all these wonderful places that you, again, don't see every day, you want to take your time. So I told him, I said, take the gentle there, because you will have the time to take the pictures that you want to take. So that's very important. I really like to have these three different activity levels offered. And that's, again, for our regular tours. After that, if you're really active or want to do other things, we have the hikes, we have the bike tours, we have the special interest tours. Then if you were, you might have a fitness routine at home. I mean, that's the case for more and more people. And I think it's a great thing. I mean, being very active myself, I love to see all our guests going to the morning introductions to yoga or to TheraBand classes, or to go on active walks with guys like Victor's, because we have our wellness hosts on board the ship. And that's a program that runs throughout the day. It's parallel to the excursion program, so it doesn't interfere with the excursion program. Excuse me. But it is a wonderful program if you want to stay in shape, to stay active. I mean, going on vacation doesn't mean we don't do anything, right? And that's also included. So why not take advantage of it? Now, when we talk about the iconic Christmas markets, so when you look at Christmas markets in Europe, you have really two regions. You have the Upper Danube, and then you have the Rhine and its tributaries. And today we will focus on the Danube because the choice of doing the Danube, I believe, is really the one that brings you to the heart, to the heart of these traditions. Bavaria, Austria, and then finishing in Hungary. And then you will also see we start with a pre-extension in Prague. And for those of you who have never been there, I can only encourage to go on so just please, I apologize for this. The little arrow here is in the wrong direction. We start here and then we go this way. Prague and the pre-extension, this is something that is absolutely superb. And if you're going to spend already 8 days, I mean, just take the 3 more days, okay? If you're going to fly 4,500 miles each way, I think it's totally worth taking these 3 days. And for multiple reasons. One, Prague is beautiful. It's too bad that I don't have my wife here. I took her for the first time. She wanted to go since 10 years. I took her last year for her 50th birthday and she loved it. So it's a magnificent city, but also from a enjoyment standpoint, taking the pre-land extension is great because you will arrive and you will stay in this city for 3 nights. So you beat the jet lag. You get to meet with most likely, some people of your group, but also you get to meet with people who you don't know. It's a small environment, and then when you arrive on the ship, you already know people. It's a completely different dynamic. And then you arrive there. If you take, and that's something again that you can ask the ladies. If you want to have your air booked with us, they can take care of all that. And then let's say that you have the air booked with us, you arrive, you gave us, so we have your air information. You will be welcomed at the airport by our greeting team. We will bring you to your transfer that will lead you to the hotel. Beautiful hotels that we have in Prague. I mean, we have a few different properties that we use, but they're all very close to each other and in the same area. So super close to the pedestrian area, the old town, Stare Mesto, but also not too much in it so that you don't have the noise at night, etc. And everything is very quiet and nice at night. So let's look a little bit so that you will see the decoration, on the ship and everywhere. We really love decorating our ships for Christmas cruises. The gentleman who is in charge of all that, he's doing a magnificent job for years and years and years. And our ships, that's the good thing. You will recognize our ships. If you don't know where you are, when you will be in Vienna and you will see some different cruise line, the harbor of Vienna is quite a long one. The good thing is that you will recognize the AmaWaterways ship immediately because they are by far the nicest decorated ship. You will have some good time on board the ship. There are different evenings, evening entertainments with not only the crew. We have the crew doing an evening with Christmas carols. We have Santa showing up, and the Santa showing up is always the same thing. I always see, and I've done probably 30 plus Christmas cruises myself with guests, and people are like, no, but I'm not going to take a seat on Santa's lap. I'm telling you, they always say that at the beginning, and at the end, everybody wants to sit on Santa's lap. Everybody, and I'm always giving Santa a nice beer at the end because the poor guy. Once you've had 100 people sitting on your left, on your left or right leg, you need to have a little drink at the end. But everybody, and I'm sure I cannot see everybody, but I'm sure there are people doing this.
I can
take
tell
the bet.
you from the last Christmas markets trip we did, everybody was the same way. Nope, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. And it was the most fun having Santa Claus come to a bunch of adults and them all sitting on his lap. And it was actually one of my favorite pictures I took on the trip.
I believe that. I totally believe that. It's just a nice atmosphere. I mean, there is also an evening where we decorate. So we have 3 different Christmas trees. There is a there are singers coming on board. So, for example, who were in the Vienna Boys Choir, who are now adults, but who are great singers for this time of the year. We have really a ton of nice entertainment. I mean, you might even see the Fun Trap family. I mean, who knows? They and it's the real Fun Trap family coming on board for some entertainment. So we change a lot. There are a lot of fun things to do. As I mentioned, we decorate the Christmas tree in the evening. But yeah, that's on the ship. In Prague, we have the stay for the 3 nights, a visit of the city, some free time so the Christmas market. So that's Our Lady After Tin. So the picture is actually taken from basically just behind me is the astronomical clock and the old city hall, and the Christmas market is right there with where the Christmas tree is. It's a beautiful town. And there are a lot of places. We visit Prague Castle, but you can visit the old town. You can go to the old Jewish quarter, which is really like almost 900. You have places that are over 900 years old. You can, if you want to learn more about garnet, about all this. I mean, Prague is a beautiful city for that. Bohemia crystal. I mean, you will learn about that. That's the most famous crystal in Europe. So it is a magnificent place. And if you have the time, I encourage you. It's not part of the tour, but just go inside Our Lady After Tin. The entrance, you see this building here. That's a little pizzeria right there. So you can't see it on the picture, but I can tell you there's a little pizzeria. You just enter there. It's always open in the afternoon, and it's great because the tour finishes at approximately 12:30 in front of the astronomical clock. So you can go have lunch around, stay at the Christmas market, or go back to the hotel or do other things. But make sure that you pay a visit to the inside. It is really superb. So we stay there. Then the next day, there is also the possibility to visit Theresienstadt, which is, I mean, it's a very different type of tour, but it's a former labor camp. So it's so images. It brings back images from World War II, but it's a very educative tour. And then we come back to Prague, and I can only encourage you to ask your cruise manager. The cruise manager will be there. Ask them if you don't know where to eat, what to eat. I mean, for example, Prague is very famous for the hand potato dumplings, and then the red cabbage, and then roasted goose leg or duck legs. I mean, absolutely amazing food. So ask your cruise manager where the good places are. For example, just here on the corner, on the left. Wow, that's too bad. I just changed the picture. But there is a great little restaurant where I stumbled one time, and I ended up being alone in the restaurant with like a bunch of bodyguards. And I asked the barman, I'm like, but why isn't everybody in there? Is that, well, because the mayor is eating. And so basically when and people just didn't want to see all these bodyguards, and I just ended up there and had lunch right next to the mayor of Prague. So who knows? And the food was amazing. And then we go to the ship, and you will see different Christmas markets. You will see Nuremberg, Nuremberg is the oldest Christmas market, but you will see a ton of different Christmas markets. You will have the possibility during that week to see 16 of them. So you could do even more. You could visit more in Vienna. But I particularly love the Christmas markets in Regensburg in Germany. That will be your second stop. So you will start in Nuremberg. You will go to the Christkindlmarkt, which is beautiful. You will see the beautiful fountain. But make sure when we go to Regensburg, you have 2 Christmas markets. This one here is the main one. And there is a second one called the Romantic Christmas Markets. And that's in the Thurn and Taxis Castle. It's a private Christmas market, and it's absolutely wonderful. If you want to Google it, Romantic Christmas Market in Regensburg, please do yourself a favor and do it. Because you will see it's unique. It's so that all the vendors who are there are invited by the Turn and Taxes family. There is no, everything is craft and it's made in front of you. So that's the most important thing. So you want to spend a little bit of time there, and you go in the courtyard of the castle and it smells good, and you walk around with your little mulled wine. It's 12 o'clock, but you don't really care. I mean, it's vacation after all. And plus you're burning the calories by taking your 25,000 steps that day. So you go to the romantic Christmas market. It's absolutely superb. You have cities like Passau. So Passau is beautiful. There you go. Here is the mug. You see, I'm not, and some people collect them. Actually many people collect them.
These were souvenirs. This one is from Rudesheimer when we went 2 years ago.
I recognize it. I wanted to say that's the Rudesheimer. That's on the Rhine.
You can literally get a new cup from every Christmas market, and you either turn it back in and get euros back, or you keep it and give it as gifts when you get home. I have a whole set of them at home. I love them.
Yeah, but from Rudesheim, I think I have 12 different ones.
I think I have 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah. And you will see that's the tradition. People do that. They have the mugs, and it's really the way it works is that you arrive. So in most towns, we will give you little vouchers, and you can just go to the Christmas market, and the voucher basically will give you a little mug, and then you will have one mulled wine. And then if you want to drink another one, well, you give €2, and they will give you a refill. And that's people keep the mugs. I mean, it's just it's a very interesting tradition. I've seen people coming to me in Vienna on this very itinerary, asking for a DHL or a FedEx package to send the stuff back to the US because they had both the mugs, and then all of a sudden you realize it's time to pack and there is not enough space to pack. So you will see, that's a great experience. So Passau, beautiful place, three different rivers joining there. So what you will see, you see here, so this place here, that's the cathedral. I hope that everybody noticed I have not talked once from the cathedral. I mean, well, I talked about Our Lady After Tin in Prague, but just for the architecture. And same thing here. I strongly encourage you to go inside and take a look at the architecture of this building, at the inside architecture, and the organ. The organ in Passau is not only the largest church organ in the world, it's also one of the 3 largest pipe organs in the world, with over 31,000 different pipes. And it's simply massive, but it's beautiful. And you might be lucky enough to hear it, to be able to listen to it when it's being played by the organist. And just in front of the cathedral, so back there, that's where you have the Christmas market. Absolutely beautiful. Salzburg, so that's Salzburg is the only tour, I would say, on that itinerary where you would have to drive a little further out, because Salzburg is in the mountains. So obviously that's the only place that we cannot directly access from the ship. But it can be a full day excursion. It's about an hour, 40 minutes drive each way, but do it. It is so worth it to learn about, to see, first of all, the Salzkammergut, so the Lake District, the Austrian Lake District, which is absolutely amazing, to see the Hohen Salzburg Fortress, to visit this beautiful city, learn about Mozart. Of course, you will learn about the sound of music as well. You will learn about composers like Herbert von Karajan. So it's a great place. And the Christmas markets, because there are 2. So that's the main one in town. And then there is St. Johann, where we can actually take you with little shuttles. So really a great day, full day excursion or half day excursion, but I strongly recommend the full day. Then you pass Dürnstein. So of course, I did not have a very nice winter picture of Dürnstein. So I took a summer one, but I wanted you to see, it's very famous for that tower, Dürnstein. That's the entire village, pretty much, that you see right there. It is a fortified village. And you will visit. It's very famous. It was made famous because Richard the Lionheart was imprisoned in this village. Actually at the top. So you need to go to the top of this cliff here. There is a castle. And he was imprisoned there when he came back from the Third Crusade. And that's what made the village famous, along with the wine. I mean, you can see here the wine terraces everywhere, right? And also the Marillen. And the Marillen, these are apricots. And you will learn, that's in the Wachau Valley. So you will learn all about this Marillen and about the different wines. So we will take you to Spitz for a wine tasting. So these are really lovely places. That's in the cellar of the old monastery in Spitz. So really great places. Vienna, if you ask me, we could spend a week in Vienna. I mean, it's my favorite city for multiple reasons. Actually, I say it's my favorite city, but it's really the favorite city of many, many people, because Vienna has been elected again. So I think now it's the 9th time in a row. The best city, so the city with the highest quality of life in the world. So capital city with the highest quality of life in the world. And it's really, it's not based on wealth or anything. It's based on a lot of different factors, access to education, prices, the quality of the transportation network, access to museums. So really a lot of things. I mean, for example, you can go, and I don't know if anybody knew that, but for example, you can go every day to the Vienna Opera, and the cheapest tickets for the opera in Vienna are for €1, €1.50. It's more expensive now. So it's not the greatest seat in the area, but you can go and see an opera at the Vienna Opera House every day of the year, because the Vienna Opera House is open every day of the year and has a different performance every day of the year. And you can go there for technically €1.50. But you will visit the Christmas market. So what you see behind here, that's the biggest Christmas market, called the Christkindlmarkt. So the baby Jesus market, and that's here the city hall. You have 20 different Christmas markets in Vienna. We will not show all of them to you, but you can see the one at the St. Stephen Cathedral, the one at the Twin Museums, where you have the Maria Theresia. So you will learn a lot about all these museums in Vienna. The one at the Charles Church, the one in Schönbrunn. So you can see easily 5 or 6 in Vienna of these Christmas markets. And I want to insist, I'm talking about the Christmas markets, but the focus of the tour is not on the Christmas market. The focus of the tours is to visit and discover the city. And at the end, then we have some free time at all these different Christmas markets. One more town, one more place to visit, which is absolutely amazing. And of course, it's Budapest. So Budapest, where we would have the end of the cruise. So that would be December 9th. And so we will arrive in Budapest on December 8th. You will spend the entire day. You arrive usually in Budapest around 9:30 in the morning. And then we have a nice tour starting around 10:30, 11. We have the nice city tour. We have some free time. We come back for lunch. And then you have the free afternoon if you want to visit the city a little bit more on your own. If you want to pack, maybe. I don't recommend the packing. If you're in Budapest just for one day, try to pack early that morning, and then you enjoy the entire day in Budapest. That's what you want to do. And that's pretty much what we have. We will visit when we're in Budapest. You have different types of tours. So it's a combined, you can choose between a combined bus and a walk tour, because Budapest, like Vienna, and these are large cities. So you need a portion by bus to get a good overview. But there's also a hike that can take you to the Buda Castle. So you start from the ship and you walk the whole way up and down. So that's about a 5.5 miles walk. Plus from that, there is a good 1.5 miles hiking, but it's a very nice one. And what you see, if you want to discover on your own also that afternoon, so that's the St. Stephen's Cathedral, right? That's the main cathedral on the Pest side, so on the flat side of the city. That's the only monument with the parliament, the House of the Parliament, that is 96 meters tall. And you will hear about this number 96. It's present all over the city. It refers to the creation of the Kingdom of Hungary. And it's a beautiful place. And the Christmas market, as you can imagine, since you see this huge Christmas tree, is just at the foot of the St. Stephen's Cathedral. So that's pretty much what we have for you. So you will have some great times. I mean, there are really fun memories to be made there. I mean, and these are just some of our people, our guests who are coming with us. And I told you there can be snow, and there will most likely be snow, and it's a great thing. Don't worry, on the ship, everything is warm. You will see, as I mentioned, many Christmas markets, so many that then you might be done for a little while with Christmas markets, or at least until the year after that. And you really have, you see, just one that I did not show. It was Nuremberg. I did not show. So that's the oldest Christmas market that you will see at the beginning. So you see here, I was talking about the astronomical clock in Prague at the beginning of the presentation. So the mechanism of this here, it's called the Männlein, what you see. And this is a little a clock. And actually you have these little figures that move and turn around. Every day at 12, you will see that. And these are mechanisms that are working for more than 700 years. So that's German quality, and you will get to enjoy that directly. Nuremberg is big, so you can't see a lot, you see, but that's all these alleys, you see people. So all these alleys, that's the main part of the Christmas market, but it really expands on the left, on the right, going up to the castle. So beautiful, beautiful areas everywhere. And of course, you heard me talking about the Glühwein, the mulled wine. So that's something that you cannot miss, and you won't, frankly, you won't miss. It's impossible. And you will even learn, you will have some recipes that will be given to you how to make your own mulled wine, just in case you don't know how to make it, which is fairly easy, but you will learn that when you're on the ship. And then the different food traditions you will learn. I talked a little bit about what happens in Prague, but you will see that, first of all, for those of you who do Prague and then embark the ship and be in Nuremberg, Passau, Regensburg, this entire area has pretty much the same food traditions. You will learn about the little sausages, the Nuremberg sausage, the Regensburg sausage, which is pretty much the same sausage, but they are not made in the same town, so they call it differently. But it's really great to enjoy all these, the Stollen Bread, the gingerbreads. So you have a lot of different things to look forward and to discover. And again, I could not miss. I mean, this is really beautiful. The duck, and you see here the red cabbage. These are foods that are absolutely incredible, and you will love them on the ship. But if you have the opportunity to eat off the ship as well, please feel free to do that. So we sure look forward to welcoming you on board. And don't forget that if you want to ask me questions, what that would be now. If you want to ask the ladies how to book your staterooms, look at that. You just give them a phone call, and they will be, or even I'm sure you had their emails, but feel free to call them, and they will be more than happy to help you with that, with the pricing, the air, as I said. Amanda and the team, they're always there for you. So if you have questions, feel free to unmute yourselves, and then I would be more than happy to answer questions.
Very good. So thank you so much, Sebastien, for doing this presentation. If anybody has questions, feel free to go ahead and post them in the chat box or unmute yourself. We have got to say, we had the best time when we did Christmas markets 2 years ago. And I definitely think that this itinerary is absolutely spectacular. There was a few things that I thought about. One of them was the if you don't drink wine, because I see some of you on here that I know personally, and I know you don't really drink wine. They have a great Kinder Punch too that they make, that they'll serve you if you don't drink wine.
Or hot apple juice. I mean, the specialty there is also hot apple juice. Super good.
Yes. And apparently really good hot chocolate as well. But it's kind of like one of those things that you go through these Christmas markets, and even if you're not big in shopping, you've already done your touring. And Sebastien brought this up. You tour throughout the day, you see the incredible sights of that destination, and then you get dropped off when the Christmas markets open, and you have that free time to kind of meander through, people watch. If you're a people watcher, a lot of times the Christmas markets have live music, but it's really the social place that you see everybody from that area going to visit. They see their friends, they have a glühwein wine or a mulled wine in hand. And then it's just, even if you're not spending a ton of money shopping and picking up souvenirs, which the souvenirs are incredible, and most of them are handmade of some sort, just beautiful. It is the best experience for people watching and getting to try new foods and new smells and meet new people. And it's a really great trip, a really great way to travel during the winter time. And it does, to get us out of hot and sunny Florida, be able to experience the holiday season like that. And one last thing, I will not spoil it for anybody, but we picked this because it is starting in that second week of Christmas markets, but it also hits over St. Nicholas Day. So you are in for a good surprise, and I won't say anything else from that because of the dates that will be on the ship. So who knows? There's going to be fun to have.
We can't tell everything.
Yeah, I know. Does anybody have any questions? I see a lot of you on, but no questions typed. So if you do, you definitely have our number. Our phones are off on Wednesdays starting at noon, but we are here. And if you leave a message or if you email us on Wednesdays, we'll definitely get it. And then we'll be back in office tomorrow. So I am so excited that you all joined this call today. And Sebastien, thank you so much for presenting the Christmas markets itinerary for our group trip. We are going December 2nd to the 9th on the cruise, but everybody in my group so far is doing the pre-nights, and it's 3 pre-nights. We'll leave the US on November 28th. So yeah, and we supply bus transportation from Roseborough Travel for anybody local, as long as we have 10 or more passengers. We supply bus transportation from Roseborough Travel to the Orlando airport and back. That way you don't have to worry about parking and aggravating driving to Orlando.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's always great. It's a great way. So, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Sebastien. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Give us a call if you are interested in going on the Christmas markets itinerary.
Have a great day, everyone. Thank you again for organizing this. And yeah, if there are questions, please ask us. Feel free.
Wonderful. Thank you.